Now, you've always had chicks out there that was willing to set that box out there and put a for sale sign on it, but there's never been a time where there's so many different types of chicks that will so easily sell that box. And if you're not careful, and if you ain't on your A game, it can get real tricky. So we're going to talk about it. But first, wipe your feet off at the door when you step into a pimp's domain. Let's go.
Bitch, you want all this pimpin' you can't afford. Perform like a punk, but wanna win his reward. Some suckers give you points, but bitch, you never scored. If you ain't paying pimpin', then bitch, you getting ignored.
Okay.
I'm so sick of these.
You ever stop and take a minute to think about all the different types of goofballs out there that's supposed to be the pimping? I mean, anybody and everybody think they a pimp nowadays. And some of these guys are the slowest guys, the most ignorant guys, the most unrefined guys. Ain't fly, ain't smooth, ain't smart, none of the right types of S's, right? And on top of that, they be suckers in most cases, right? Crash outs, ready to risk it all and put it all on the line for a broad that ain't worth 2 cents. Hey, man. The reason why you have so many goofy ass dudes out there claiming to and believing that they are the pimping is because there are so many chicks that will easily set that thing out there, right? See, it used to be a time where every girlfriend wasn't just willing to sell their box. Now, you've always had cats out there, you know, they can convince their girlfriend to set that thing out there and get a few dollars for it. But now it's like almost every girlfriend is willing to sell that thing, right? Just like it's so many chicks willing to get on OnlyFans, you know? And because there's so many different types of chicks that will set that thing out there, if you endeavoring to be the pimping or do some pimping, you have to be careful. See, before, the way the game was before, which is because of the way that the world was before, it wasn't so many different types of chicks that was willing to actually had the nerve for the curb to really get out there and sell that thing, right? And, you know, even with some of the ones that would get out there, for a lot of these dudes, it'd take a lot of twisting of the arm to get a girl to go out there and do her thing, right? But now it don't take no twisting of nothing, because there's just so many different types of chicks willing to set that thing out there. The danger in that is that you don't know what type of chick you're accepting. Now, you always have to have discretion. You know, if you're gonna jump out there and do this, you always gotta have discretion. You always gotta have discernment. You always gotta pay attention and understand who and what you're dealing with. But man, if you one of them types of dudes to just accept anything, willing to hand it over, you playing a dangerous game. Because there's so many different types of undesirable chicks that will hand their money over to you. I'm talking about the most scandalous chicks, the most trifling chicks, chicks with no character, chicks with no standards, dangerous chicks, right? No moral compass, no nothing. And I know you probably thinking like, freeze, they 304s. What you mean moral compass? Hey, even 304s have a moral compass. You know, even 304s, you know, have standards. 304s have dignity. And a lot of these chicks that's selling that thing right now don't even have dignity, right? They don't protect themselves. You know, they don't have any loyalty to anyone or anything, not even themselves, let alone the guy who they involving themselves with in the game. You know, this is why it's so many cats getting caught up, you know, impersonating pimps. Like I've said before, we used to joke about people going to jail for impersonating pimping. You know, it should be a crime to impersonate a pimp. Well, it really is a crime now, because you got so many dudes that ain't got no pimping with them that's getting jammed up, and it's because they see a chick willing to sell that thing, and it's like they can't resist the temptation of trying to act like a pimp and be a pimp. Oh, you willing to sell that and give me the money? Okay, cool. You know, it's a whole lot of square dudes that's gonna go for that, right? But you know, a lot of these dudes, they don't see past the money, what type of woman they dealing with, right? And you have to be able to look past the money. You have to be able to look past the willingness of this woman to go out there and sell that thing and hand it over to you. You got to be able to look past all of that and see what type of woman this is, right? You know, a lot of these chicks done snitched on their boyfriend and lied on him, said that he did something to her that he didn't do, weaponizing law enforcement against them, which a lot of chicks do. You know, a lot of these chicks weaponize their children, not just against baby daddies, but, you know, family members and friends and whoever's willing to do something for them and their kids. You know, they weaponize their children. It's just so many, you know, a lot of chicks will have a incurable disease and they out there selling that thing and don't feel no type of way about it, putting people at risk. Man, it's so many people this dope fiends out there now that will sell it just to, you know, satisfy their habit. And, you know, a lot of dudes will play that game too, and that game is dangerous, right? And, you know, what makes it so dangerous is the fact that a chick is willing to sell that thing and hand it over to you. You use that as a gauge to trust the chick. Oh, because she willing to sell that thing and hand it over to me, you know, ain't a big deal if I bring her to my crib and let her know where I lay my head at. Ain't a big deal if I introduce her to, you know, certain family members and things like that. You know, ain't a big deal if I take her to my partner's house and let her know who he is and where he lives. Ain't a big deal. And, you know, whoever you take this chick around, you putting her at risk. You take her to where you lay your head at, you putting yourself at risk. You take her to your partner's house, you putting him at risk. You take her over to your sister's house, you putting your sister at risk. Because these chicks will tell on everybody and anybody in order to get some pressure up off their ass. Right? And my point in saying all of this is that there's so many different types of chicks that are willing to set that thing out there and sell it, but the majority of them do not even belong in the game. Just because they willing to jump into the game doesn't mean that they belong in the game or that they should be in the game, right? Or that they should be accepted by participants in the game. Gentlemen and 304s alike. A lot of these chicks shouldn't even be accepted in the game, let alone belong in the game, right? But again, you have so many dudes out there that really ain't even supposed to be in the game they damn self. But, you know, chicks inadvertently try to build a pimp. They don't even realize they trying to build a pimp, but that's what they doing. But, you know, they just want some dude to be in the game with them. So a lot of these dudes get the bright idea to try to act like a pimp now when they ain't got no business in the game they damn self. But then you have guys that might have some game with them, but will be careless and negligent with their freedom and they life and their well-being, right? You know, there's so many different types of chicks in the game that will set you up to get robbed or hurt. You know, we've talked about this before, but it's so many different types of chicks. I mean, any and every chick. It's like how I talked about recently about chicks being so freaky, right? Within them being so freaky, they so freaky that they willing to get $1 for their freakiness. right? But that doesn't mean that they right for the game. And a lot of dudes just be putting it all on the line for a freaky bum, because that's what a lot of these chicks are, freaky bums. And you putting everything on the line for a freaky bum. It's dudes sitting on a yard right now that ain't gonna never get out, or ain't gonna get out for decades or years, who are sitting there because of their involvement with a freaky bum, right? Cats be just accepting any and every kind of chick just because they willing to sell that thing, right? It's no challenge anymore to convince a chick to get out there. They just willing to get out there. Especially when they see their friends doing it, or their big sister doing it, or a cousin or somebody like that. They just jumping out there. Or even less than that. If they see somebody on social media doing it and they counting money and they look like they doing something big, these chicks, that's for certain chicks, that's all it takes for them to want to get out there. Seeing somebody on social media, you know, putting the hashtag 304 down on a post and them counting some money, or, you know, they in a strip club counting money, or they sitting in a hotel room in call counting money. That's all it takes for certain chicks to just, you know, want to jump out there. But a lot of these chicks don't care about nothing. There's so many different types of chicks that's willing to set that thing out there, and a lot of them don't care about anything. They don't care about themselves. They don't care about their family. If they got kids, they don't care about their kids. They don't care about anyone or anything but feeling good. That's the only thing they care about, is feeling good. And if them selling that thing leads to them feeling good, or has to do with them feeling good, then they'll do it. Because like I said, they freaky bums anyway, so getting freaky for a few dollars, that's going to feel real good to a lot of them. But a lot of them have no business in the game. And because there's so many different types that are willing to set that thing out there, this is why your discretion has to be on 10 as a gentleman out here, right? And it ain't even necessarily for guys in the game. A lot of y'all dudes out there, because this is real common and popular too. A lot of y'all dudes out there are squares who ain't trying to act like pimps, don't want to be pimps, but your girlfriend is willing to sell that thing and you willing to let her and accept the money. But you playing a dangerous game. Because if y'all supposed to be squares and, you know, she's selling that thing and y'all not taking the game seriously, you just want a few dollars from the game, you playing a dangerous game. Because she's not committed to the lifestyle. She just want the benefits of the lifestyle without really being responsible for those benefits, like a 304 is. See, a 304 gets the benefits of being a 304 by being responsible for it, meaning, you know, dedicating herself to the lifestyle and making it happen, right? And taking everything that comes with it, good, bad, and ugly. But a square, a girlfriend to a square boyfriend, this, you know, just need a few dollars right now, so she willing to jump out there and sell her thing and get a few dollars. You playing a dangerous game, because if she get jammed up, a lot of these squares don't want that stain on their name. So what you think she gonna do in order to keep that stain off her name? She gonna feed your square ass to the wolves, just like she would the pimping. And guess what? The judge is gonna treat your square ass the same way he treat an actual pimp. He gonna lock you up and throw away the key just like they will an actual pimp, right? So, you know, what I want you to keep in mind and understand is that all of these types of scenarios stem from, again, the bottom line fact that any and every chick will sell their box, the majority of whom do not belong in the game. So you got to be careful, man. Be careful. If you in the game, don't just accept any chick that's willing to sell that thing. Make her prove herself to be worthy. And how she proves herself to be worthy is dependent upon you, right? And if you a square and your girlfriend is willing to jump out there and sell that thing, either tell her that she can't do that in order to be with you, and if she's so serious about that she don't mind compromising y'all's relationship, then leave her alone, because she gonna have your square ass locked up, guilty of the same thing that they charge pimps with, right? So just be sharp, man, and don't fall for the okie doke, because that's what a lot of these chicks are. They just the okie doke, man. Don't fall for it, because whatever benefit that you may get from dealing with a chick that's acting like a 304 but ain't really a 304, when you sit on a yard with tens or hundreds of years, whatever benefit that you got from that experience is not worth years taken from your life, or the rest of your life taken from your life, right? It's not worth it. Even if it was $1 million, $1 million ain't worth a split second in incarceration, let alone years. It's not worth it, man. So bottom line, there's so many different kinds of chicks that are willing to sell their box, and the majority of them don't belong in the game. And because they don't belong in the game, they're gonna get a lot of y'all goofy asses jammed up. So tighten up and be smart, you dig? So that you can avoid the pitfalls in dangerous situations, whether it be you getting robbed or getting set up to get robbed by her boyfriend, or get hurt by her boyfriend. Y'all seen the situation not too long ago, right? Where the chick met up with the young man off Instagram and then called her boyfriend, and her boyfriend came and unalived that young man, right? Over a chick that he just met off Instagram. Now, you think that chick wasn't willing to sell her box, set her thing out there? I guarantee you she was, but look at what type of chick she is. Setup artist, right? And who's to say whether or not it was any kind of tricking going on? I don't know, but it wouldn't surprise me though, you dig? But the bottom line, man, be sharp, tighten up, and don't just deal with any old type of chick, because any old type of chick will have you in any old kind of situation that you don't want to be in, you dig? Let that marinate on your mind one time, freezes it. Go ahead, put some of this good old love in your body like so. And of course, as always, long live the incomparable Sinful to P. We out. Dig this. I've been stroking relentless to get waves like this. I spoke into existence for her to pay like this. In the trenches on a day like this, traffic consistent, and so I have to insist that she relay my chips. It's a trap with her name on it and my game on it. Any forces coming against this game, shame on it. Standing on my pimpin' from day one and remain on it. It carried me through every terrain and I gained on it. Experience joy and pain on it, sustained on it.
But getting back to this game that I never left.
Baby, yeah, where you been?